1492 is a magic date. It's a different, 1492 establishes a difference. There is a quality, there is a differential quality between what happened before and what happened after 1492. But converso phenomenon is not exclusive from Spain, and it's not exclusive, or I'm going to say the Iberian Peninsula, and it's not exclusive from 1492. And before they reach Hungary, between France and Hungary, you have Germany. And that's where you have the first massacres in the Rhineland. And that was the first time that Jews had to face the question, convert or die. And it was a massacre, a literal massacre. That's from tradition, that's when Rashi wrote the commentaries. Jewish tradition says that Rashi saw the massacres, and then he understood how weak was or how endangered was Jewish tradition. So he decided to put all his knowledge down in writing. So that's why we have commentaries, Rashi's commentary for every single thing. It's an apocalyptic thinking. It's making the book of Revelation for real. The riots spread from Seville to the Mediterranean coast. In Seville, we calculate that around 3,000 Jews were slaughtered, and a similar amount of Jews were forced into conversion. And the slaughters come up the Mediterranean coast. Valencia, Barcelona, Girona, Balearic Islands. The amount of killing is terrible, and we have witnesses from that time. But at the end, they are kicked out. Because what the Spanish government or the Spanish crown wanted was a uniform identity. Everybody has to be the same. This is a feature of modern states. You think one nation, one religion, one language, one people, one state. Multi-centered identity. Think about now those guys that we talk about every Saturday morning when we read the Parsha. Abraham was born where? And he moved where? So he's the quintessential migrant. Charles Heston was born where? I mean Moses. You remember the guy at the beginning that has 3 or 4 masks? Are we really one mask? Or do we really carry many different masks? Is our identity a 0 or 1 identity? Or is our identity a multi-layered identity? Because if it's a multi-layered identity, then we can pick and choose when and how we play those identities. Who tells what's authentic? Who owns the key to open the label of authenticity? Who has the seal to say you are authentic, you are not? We live in this constant tension between present, future, and past. What's tikkun olam? Tikkun olam basically is insatisfaction with the present situation of the world. We know that the world should not be like this. We know that that piece of wood should not be like that amorph piece of wood. We know that the world should be different. Okay? Dissatisfaction with the present situation of society leads the converso to try to change things. What moves the converso is hope, nostalgia, and memories. This is common to any migrant. The converso lives constantly exiled in word, in conscience, in belief, in appearances. Something that is also very important for us to understand is that there is a dichotomy between medieval and modern. In medieval times, you remember that I asked you, remember the word Judaizer? This is the doing versus the being. In medieval society, is defined by religious terms. It's defined by what you do. The modern society, however, from the 18th, 19th century until now, is defined by terms of race and blood, is the being. When you look at the records of the Inquisition persecutes people because they are doing Jewish things. Not because they are Jews, but because they are doing Jewish things, because they are Judaizing. Nazism persecuted Jews regardless of what religion they were practicing. It was defined in terms of genetics, it was defined in terms of essence. Why masks? Masks are symbols for dissimulation. You don't want to assimilate, you want to keep your own thing. So I keep using masks. The converso lives in a multiplicity of identities. But in this house of mirrors and reflection, what's essential and what's not? Again, go to an Orthodox rabbi and ask him how real are Reformed Jews. Go to a Reformed rabbi and ask him how real he thinks his Judaism is. You understand? This is a house of mirrors. The converse identity is the interpretation that ranges between these two poles, the in and the out. The assimilation versus keeping something. That's why I think that converso identity talks so well to American Jewish experience. Because we're constantly negotiating between those two poles. But can we live outside this dichotomy? Good, thank you.